Hi, welcome back to Get Plastered with Andy. So this is our second video. The last video we run a mould for a crown moulding. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you the whole process of how we cast a crown moulding out of this mould. But before we do that, let's get plastered. Right, now you can see I've got my uniform on, the old good trusty garbage bag, which I love. So as you know, we run the mould. And so you can see I've cut off these pieces here just to square it up. Now if you look at this, you can see it's a different colour, and the reason why is because I put a sealer on it, and the sealer is basically shellac, and you just go like this and you brush it onto the plaster mould. That seals it. You have to do that so the plaster won't stick to it. The next process is greasing it. Now we use the lard, yeah, because lard is the best release agent for this. I use it on my hands and everything. So as you can see, I'm rubbing it all over the mould. You've got to get in every little crevice, all the way over. And this will stop the plaster sticking to the mould. Okay, and there that is greased up. We call it greasing up, and as I say, good old lard. So the next stage is now I have to mix up the plaster, but before I do that I want to tell you the ingredients for making the crown moulding. So we use burlap, we have laths, we have water, and we have plaster of Paris. That is the ingredients. So I'm going to start mixing right now. Right, so as you can see, I've made two gauges. We call these gauges. So this is the firstings and this is the seconds. So we use the first one first, obviously. That's why it's called firstings. Give it a nice little mix up. Oh, bubbles, eh? And that's why you put lard on your hands. So this plaster not sticks you. So what I'm going to do now is start brushing it on to the mould. Doesn't have to look pretty, just going to brush it on. And I'm going to run my fingers down all these grooves, just to make sure there's no air. Give it another brush. As I'm brushing it, it starts to set the plaster off faster. So now this is called splashing, obviously. Splashing. So you're going to splash it. You're trying to build it up. A nice amount on there. Just keep putting it on. You get plenty on there. As you can see, you want to try and get as much on the top as possible. So now, what I'm going to do is wash my brush, or else the brush will set hard if you don't wash it. So the next move is striking off. So striking off is the wall and ceiling line. So this is where I'll strike it off. that. That. That's called striking it off. So that's the first coat done. This is the burlap, which I explained earlier. So burlap is a binder. A very important part. Some people use modern materials like fiberglass. But I don't like fiberglass. I like good old burlap. Natural. So do it nice and gently. Like this here. Pushing that in there like that. Into all the little pieces. Nice and gently. So now, I'm going to mix up the other one. Can you pass me a bowl please, Declan? So I'm going to mix up the next batch of plaster for seconds. Good old mix. Like that. And then I'm going to brush in the seconds. Ready. These are for strengthening it up and for your fixings. So when you're installing the plan moulding, you've got something to screw through. See, I'm coating it up both sides like that. You want to get lots of plaster on that. It's part of the mould. So, like that. Put the brush in there for a second. So I have to push this in like this. Oh my God. Now on bigger crown mouldings you put a extra layer of burlap underneath the lard, but I just fold it like that for a small one like this. Okay. Want it nice and black. On this one, up to there. Fold that in like that. And fold it over like that. Brush it in more. As I say, the seconds, you want to make sure you get everything really coated up properly. You don't want to miss any bits. We call them cobwebs. You don't want cobwebs in there because then it's weaker. Get some more plaster. So I'm going to flap this lap over. In. I know that end had a bigger lap on that, but that doesn't really matter. So here we go. These are called laps, and these you put in because it strengthens it and it stops it from hinging. And hinging is when the crown moulding goes like that. So this is what stops that. It's best to have a few of these in there. You don't need one at the very end because we've already got a nice big turnover at the end there. Right, the next stage is a bit of splash. Splashing all over. It's just splashing all over with the old brute aftershave when I was a youngster. Love that stuff. Splashing all over. Righty, so we're going to get a piece of lath, that's my strike off, and then just basically like this. It's very important to strike it off. These laths you can't just buy anywhere. You've got to get them milled. Well, you do where I live anyway. I know there are a lot of European countries you can buy them because it's used a lot more. This is also used for lath and plastering with horsehair and lime. You build the walls with this stuff and then do the traditional lime plastering with real horsehair, which I love doing. But I'm going to show you in another video because I've got another project coming up that deals with heritage horsehair and lime plastering. So this is it so far. I'm going to have to let that set for 20 minutes and then we will pop it out of mould and you'll see what it looks like. And I'll be back soon. I'm just going to wash my brush and go and have a cup of tea while I'm waiting for that mould. Right, now the crown moulding is nice and dry. We're going to pop her out the mould. I'm just going to get my hands and get a little bit of air underneath there. And we just flip her over like that, and this is the crown moulding. So don't worry about the dark pieces, that's just burlap. That's fine. We prime them so you don't even see that. And there you go. That's what the crown moulding looks like when she's up. I will show you what it looks like when it's installed. So for our next video, I'm going to show you how to make a window trim, a radius curve. So we actually spin a mould. So that's what we're going to do on the next video. But meanwhile, until then, what we're going to do is get plastered.